Hey, how you guys doing? Hopefully well. Before I get out of here today, I want to talk to you about an article that I just read in the National Association of Realtors that gave an overview of the number of homes or the percentage of home ownership over the last 10 years or so and broken down into racial cohorts and why ownership is important. It's very important for us to understand these things, right? So, without further ado, and good evening, and thanks for the thumbs up to whoever gave that to me. As we go through, if you guys want to comment or have questions, feel free to. But this is what I'm speaking of. This article here, and it says, as you can see, racial minority groups increased their home ownership rates while still facing significant home buying challenges. And this video is probably not what you think it's going to be. So bear with me while we cook this meal. Highlights, and this is awesome. Uh, the U.S. home ownership rate significantly increased over the last decade, adding 10.5 million more homeowners. It's awesome because that's really the meat on the bone, regardless of what you hear, all the rhetoric and all the folks telling you not to and why you shouldn't. Um, there's a reason why there's an additional 10.5 million folks that have. And we'll get into some of that as we move forward. Shout out to my Hispanic community. You guys have been doing a stellar job and continue to do so. Um, as far as becoming homeowners, I had a young man out at my place, 23, was doing an owner uh, finance type situation, but that's beside the point. Putting down 20%. I mean, he had 15 to 20 grand to put down, and he was telling me, "Hey, I'm getting ready to close here fairly quickly." And I was just wanting to make sure, hey, why are you going that route? He didn't really want to get into it, but I encouraged him to make sure to get title work done and inspections as much as he can to protect himself because he didn't want to go the traditional route. Point is, he's becoming a homeowner earlier than a lot of us in my community tend to do so. So shout out to the Hispanic community. Not mad at you. Go ahead and continue to do your thing. But 51% in 2022. Uh, the Asian community, Asian Americans experienced the sharpest increase home ownership rates, reaching 63.3%. That's awesome. Okay. Um, and how you doing? How you doing? Hey, Miss Pat, I know you. Hopefully all is well. Let me put Miss Pat up on the screen. Y'all go check out. That's Durham Skyrider. Miss Pat, put your YouTube channel and things of that nature, so I can have the folks come check you out if you're over in that Durham, North Carolina area. That's the one to keep you in the know. Good to see you. But moving forward, it says while home ownership rates improved across all racial and ethnic groups over the past decade, home ownership rates among my folks continues to trail. And that is the intro, if you will, into the rest of this video. I'm not going to come at it the way you think I'm going to come at it, but give you a little history, right? Here's the deal. Let's go back. Uh, Slavery. Folks started coming. My people, my ancestors started coming here, as they say, all the way back, 1619. Okay. 1619 is the day that a lot of people recognize. And hold on. Let's see here. 1619, yeah. So let's say from 1619, just for the sake of time, to 1865. 1619 to 1865, right? How much time is that? Let's see here. You know what? Let's not go 1865. Let's go to 1964, the Civil Rights Act. A lot was done in the way of preventing my folks from owning. And although there were a lot of atrocities during that time, one of the largest atrocities as it pertains to economics was time. Because over that time period and not being able to participate just in regular ownership, this is one of the reasons we are lagging behind as far as ownership is concerned. I'm also going to hold ourselves accountable because there's a lot in the way that we do, especially over the last 60 years, right? Since 64. How much time is that? 2024 minus 1960. Uh, let's see here, 1960. Yeah, 64 years. There's a lot of things that we do to hinder ourselves. But don't get it twisted. That time of not being able to buy and grow equity so that you could pass down to help those coming behind you, that matters. Okay. And we're going to continue to educate and turn the trajectory. And again, it didn't say we were negative, but we're lagging behind. But don't feel bad because there's a reason for everything. Now, that's not for you to go have a pity party, but before you could go forward, you have to understand where you're coming from. And so over the last 64 years, a lot of us have done a lot in the way of trying to catch up. Okay. So keep that in mind as we move forward. Try to just highlight some pertinent points. You guys can go read the article. And before we go any further, here, let's put Miss Pat's information for Durham Skywriter. I'll leave that there on the screen for a while so you guys can avail yourself to that information. But it says right here, despite fast rising mortgage rates, minority groups saw increased homeownership rates in 2022. Facts. Asians 63.3%, Hispanics 51.1%. Homeownership rates registered all-time highs in those cohorts, right? The black home ownership rate experienced a modest uptick to 44.1%. While the gain should be celebrated, which they should across the board, the pathway into home ownership remains arduous for minority buyers, all minority buyers, right? It could be somewhat challenging. I'm going to stop there. One of the things, in my opinion, from the folks that I deal with, and a majority of them are from my cohort for whatever reason, but I've been blessed to deal with whites, Hispanics, blacks, not a lot of Asians. I'll keep it a buck with you. Not a lot of Asians, so I can't speak from that standpoint. But especially black and Hispanic, there is a lot of trepidation, a lot of fear, and that also goes towards making the process harder, arduous, right? And so let's see here. What's Miss Pat saying? Amazing. What's amazing is the number of black homeowners from way back when who lost their properties to large real estate, right? And or government projects. Facts. Facts. And I have a historian on. Ms. Pat knows of facts, right? But again, a lot of things done in the way of preventing equity. And that's really where I want to keep the focus of this while we go through this information. But don't get it twisted. I don't mind. I don't mind showing you where the wrong is at. But again, I want to stay focused for those of you that are looking to buy, to show you the importance of equity and how it has matriculated down to making things more difficult and arduous for minority communities. Right now, let's move forward. Thanks for that information, Ms. Pat. That's exactly the truth, though. It says the impacts of housing affordability and limited inventory are more extreme for minority buyers because more than half are first-time home buyers who must rely on down payment assistance sources beyond gained home equity. There it is. So when you take hundreds of years of not being able to participate and buying this little old house, and then it turns into this nest egg, and from there you can use the equity for schooling and different things, businesses, so on and so forth. and you're starting so late in the game. That's why. That's why home ownership is important. Even myself, I've been blessed to help my son get into our old house, and gonna do the same for my daughter as long as I'm living, because I understand the power of it, right? Uh, that's the leg up. We were able to do that because of the equity, because we bought early when we were younger, first married, right? We didn't wait. A lot of you guys are being hoodwinked and bamboozled, in my opinion. And I'm talking to those of you that can afford, but you're from the mindset that it's too difficult, or it's too this, it's too that, but you don't understand the power of equity. Okay? Let me move forward. It says, even among successful home buyers, minorities have a higher amount of student loan debt. Well, I'll be John Brown. Right? If you don't have the equity to help, you see, my son doesn't have any student loan debt. And my daughter, y'all willing, she'll be graduating here in a year and a half. Cybersecurity, no debt. No debt. Car paid off, brand new car, no debt. Say that to encourage you all out there, because see, debt is a burden. It's burdensome. And that's what I'm seeing with a lot of folks in my cohort, is student loan debt is on your back. Well, why do I have all that student loan debt? Well, I'm trying to become upwardly mobile. We could have done a lot better, in my opinion, of getting into trades and things of that nature that move the needle as far as income is concerned in commerce. But again, don't have the equity to help pay for the school. I'm coming out with this on my back. I'm only making so much, and it's accruing interest. That's that jump. That's one of the biggest parts of the jump, where you weren't able to, your folks before you weren't able to participate. Now, it's a different thing if you have the opportunity and you don't. That's on you. But we know that that's not the case, right? I'm going to put this back up. We got facts on that right there, right? From Miss Durham Skywriter. So student loan debt, the biggest expense that holds back savings along with rent. I'll also say car loans and kicking it. Now I'm talking to us, right? Got to get a budget. You don't have to have a $500, $600, $700 a month car loan, okay? But student loan debt, again, because hey, I have to go do this to get better, to make more. Well, where a lot of other folks didn't have to make that payment because of the equity that had been built up over years, because it takes time. It takes time, right? Let me move forward. So I don't want to hold you guys all day long. It says the biggest expense that holds back savings along with rent, once they are ready to buy, Hispanics and Black Americans have a higher rate of loan denials in the market. I'll say another thing on that. In my opinion, that's because we only go to one place. Okay. Now, if you see over here on the screen, right below me, right, that's called a free loan scenario, right? And then you can also get a second opinion if you have a loan estimate. We have to learn how to shop, because I know Asian Americans and white Americans, they know how to shop. Okay. One of the reasons we don't shop is because we don't have our ducks in a row. That's why I come on to educate and things of that nature. And it might not be exciting, but if followed, it's a blueprint, not only for you, but for your familia. You feel me? I'm talking about generational wealth. But if you have a loan estimate right now, and you've only been to one person, click the QR code, get on the list. I'll review it for you. I helped 2 people today and I didn't do their loan. Okay. I'm blessed. Going to continue to be so because I really care. And you know it. So with that said, second opinion, if you have a loan in process and you've had a loan estimate, let me make sure that you're in the right place. And that's why a lot of our interest rates are higher, because we only go to one place, right? Because a lot of us don't believe we can get the loan. You'd be surprised. And then loan scenarios, right? Click that QR code. If you're in the market to buy, okay, and you want to understand what it is that you can afford and what options you have available to you. Got to learn how to shop, right? So that's why I believe that's one of the reasons that Hispanics and Black Americans have higher interest rates as well as loan denial. Got another comment here. It says years ago, white folks used to buy starter homes with the plan to switch over to larger homes as their financial situation improved. Facts, Miss Pat. Facts. Keep preaching. What else you got? That idea was foreign to black folks because many of us didn't expect to move up once we got a home. Maybe we need to consider that concept of a starter home as opposed to that dream home the first time. Amen. Amen. Watch this, Miss Pat, as we go a little further. There's also something else that we need to consider and learn from these other minority groups, right? But excellent points, and I agree 100%. It says, as we move forward, it says, even among successful home buyers, minorities have a higher amount of student debt, the biggest expense that holds back savings. I already read that. It says black home buyers reported the highest share of student loan debt at 41% with a median amount of $46,000, right? Not an average, but a median. That's a real good number. So that's a lot, especially when you don't have anything. You're starting off in the hole, digging a hole, right? Again, equity matters. Equity matters. I'm sorry, guys. Let me turn this off. Equity matters, okay? And then Hispanic, watch this. Let me put them on here. 29% of Hispanic home buyers reported having student loan debt with a median amount of $33,000. So it's not quarantined to just black Americans, but folks that are coming from the bottom, okay? And it's hard when you're starting from the bottom and then you go into student loan debt. Again, nobody made you go. I'm not from that camp, and you need to pay it back. That's the camp that I'm from, because I paid mine. But we need to do a better job with the type of education that we're getting into. And we have to make sure, is it going to be commensurate with the type of income that we're expecting to get and not just burdened with debt? Got another comment. Let's see here. Biden just forgave more student loan debt today. He did. And it says, put a plan together ASAP. Yeah, it's election time. You know what I'm saying? And they trying to get in, but never been a hater. Okay, never been a hater. So if you are blessed with a forgiveness, take advantage of it. Don't continue to be a consumer. You have to own. And when you're coming from a place of just consumption, you can find a million reasons and a million voices to tell you why it's not a good idea. But I just talked to a client earlier today, not far from retirement, trying to buy a first home. And Miss Pat, we had that conversation. I'm like, you need a starter home. You need a condo. Why are we trying to buy a McMansion when you're talking about return and your income is going to do this? Okay. So, yeah, I'll leave it there. So, where are we at? It says black and Hispanics home buyers also encountered additional hurdles in securing mortgages. Black 26%, Hispanics 22%. Applicants experience higher denial rates for mortgage applications compared to their white counterparts and Asian counterparts. Again, don't shop. Free loan scenario. If you've gotten turned down, shop. But before you shop, we have to make sure we have all of the information. You see what I'm saying? Watch the YouTube channel. Learn how to prepare yourself before you approach a lender, and then go to minimum 2 others to see what's going on. Okay? You got to shop. So I'll move forward here. It says less favorable terms. I've seen it a lot, and I've helped people a lot that were given less favorable terms because they think brokers are better, right? Or I got to deal with somebody local. The internet has changed the game. Move around, you'll be surprised, right? Don't let the hoodie fool you. And if I'm not your cup of tea, find somebody who is. Shop, okay? Shop around. You'll be surprised what you can get, or what you're being charged. So That's a part of the less favorable terms. That's a part of the arduous nature for some folks because of the fear and the trepidation and just, oh Lord, I got to prove. We got to get out of that. The Lord ain't in that. I really don't think he is. He's giving you the power to understand, and he's sending folks like myself your way. It's up to you to judge the fruit on the tree and stop getting hoodwinked and bamboozled. Let me quit preaching. I'm almost finished. You know, I'm going to preach a little bit. But anywho, we're going to round off here. This is the part I want to make. It says less favorable terms. Black. Okay. Last part. It says 24%. This is the key, Miss Pat, of black buyers, 23% of Asian, and 22% of Hispanic buyers purchase multi-generational homes. So not only do we need to look at starter homes, to your point, let me find that again. Right? At the starter homes that move up, but multi-generational. My Hispanic cohort has it down. Love my Hispanic clientele. They get it. You see what I'm saying? Sometimes it takes two to make the thing go right. Okay? And you got to get in until you can fit in. Because of where we come from, right? And whatever that was inbred in us, we always want to do stuff alone. And if you could do it by yourself, cool. But, you know, you can go further together than you can by yourself. And some of us, for the sake of creating that equity to help those behind us, so we don't always have to be coming out of a 30,000 foot hole, maybe getting together and helping one another out in the family to secure that equity. Ms. Pat says, think deeply about your ego and whether you're pursuing a certain type of house in a certain area to get more status. The first house I bought was in the hood, and I was thrilled with it. And I know your story, Ms. Pat, because what you call a hood right now, those houses where you bought your first house, $1 million houses. If I'm correct, you could just put a amen. We don't need to get in your business, but you could just put an amen in and I'll put it up. So exactly. I love that statement, that comment. Quit, as the folks say, you fronting for the gram. These folks on the internet, man, I'm not going to stroke a check for your mortgage. And if you follow me any period of time, we come from modest means, okay? Has nothing to do with the character, though. We come from great folks, but material-wise didn't have a lot. One house will change your life. I'm going to just say that. One house will change your life. And so what Miss Pat is saying is truly, truly the truth. And the church said, amen and indeed. You feel me? So that's it, guys. Don't want to ruffle no feathers out there. And if your feathers get ruffled, let them get ruffled, man. The facts are the facts. Okay? But now, we understand the facts. That's in the past. Now it's on you. What are you going to do? Okay? So as I wrap up, this is what I like for you to do. First of all, you need to be thinking about ownership because you can see other folks are, and you wonder why they're ahead of you. If ownership is not something within your grasp, the second thing I want you to do is, who in my family can we multi-generational get with? Big mama gonna need a place to stay. Pop gonna need a place to stay. Maybe they can help with these kids that you got. Everybody working together. We got a spot, right? Teamwork makes the dream work. Every member has a function. If that's you, okay? And then if you say, hey, that's not for me because I want to stunt in front of the gram, you better put your money somewhere for your future self. Because your future self is going to thank you, okay? Because it's up. Everything is up. Prices are up. They never go down. It's a new precedent, and you got to keep up. So I'm here to help you. Those two things, most importantly, schedule a loan scenario, right? Get on the calendar. Let's go over your scenario to see where you really are. Quit being fearful. False evidence appearing real, okay? And everybody doesn't have your best interest at heart. I just hate to say it. And all skin folk ain't kin folk. If you understand them country terms, you know what I'm saying, right? Shop. You have up to 45 days. Get a loan estimate and see what's out there that will lower the decline rate, that will increase the rate of better loan terms, okay? Because you're not captive. The internet is here now. You can step outside of your local locale based on those people that resonate with you, that show up, and you can go back and see the history. Something about history and fruit on the tree. All you got to do is listen to people. They'll tell you where they are. Are you listening? Or do these have you deceived? You looking for a certain look. See, you ain't got to worry about none of that with me. I don't give you no designer. I ain't cute. I ain't fine. I'm talking about these mortgages and this equity. Right? So if you come here, you looking for the facts, right? We ain't gonna have no B-roll. We're not gonna be at no parties or none of that. We talking about catching up, man, because we're behind. So if you're about that, let's have a conversation and see if we can't walk together, partner, so that I can help you get on the property ladder if that's what you want to do. Shout out again. Don't play yourself, man. Avail yourself to this channel, the Durham Skywriter. Okay, at Durham Skywriter on YouTube. Subscribe. Miss Pat, it's always a pleasure and an honor. I thank you for blessing the channel with the information. And I know you well, but continue to be blessed. And again, thank you. Thank you all for the time. And yeah, that's it. My time is up. I thank you for yours. As I always say, guys, let's be good to one another. Let grace abound. And until the next time, peace. Y'all be blessed. Do, do, do.